Hey YouTube, I clipped this just to show off my thoughts on some upcoming content. If you want to check out the full video, please check it out in the card to the right. Otherwise, enjoy this short piece. Drop a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't already. Alright, let's get started. Now we have the rare mission dungeon where Firion is getting his LD, rework, and burst. I believe this is the last mission dungeon to date. Yeah, I don't think so. Let's go over Firion's details real quick. Skill 1 has party heals and splash damage with a double dump. I think it's a double or triple, I don't know. Well, he does more damage. And the party heal is the big thing, along with the not capping on his brave because of the multiple dumps. He loses his HP condition on his aura, so if his HP drops, you won't be losing on the I Brave and M Brave auras. His skill 2 is also party heals and a double dump, but it's still single target. His call ability is his skill 1, again, in burst heals, and it has an M Brave and attack up effect. It's decent. And his LD, the meat, is transforming Firion into a trap character. It is a debuff that applies attack down, and after the enemy acts, he does a brave gain into a ranged HP attack that heals everyone. He gets a better HP attack with party refund on his LD. He gets a 60% attack aura to the party, and he starts with his generic buffs like Squall and Kuja, I think, do. The crux of Firion's updates are that he becomes a party healer on pretty much everything except his EX and HP attack, I believe, but pretty much you won't be using that HP attack, because his skills, he has so many skills and his EX recharges so fast. There's really no need to really ever use his HP attack unless you need someone to be safe. But he's a consistent party healer now, and he has slightly an aura bot, and he does off-turn damage. Firion is so good in the off-turns, and he stacks so well with characters like Rude, who convert his, because now he heals the party, so that means Firion's going to have fat batteries on everything. His trap attack heals the party as well, so he's going to be battering them on the off-turns on that. That's why part of the reason that Rude was so hyped is because of his combination with Firion, especially on boss rush content. Firion is one of the best boss rush characters still to date. He's still great in boss rush. That doesn't mean he's great outside of it, but you really want the enemies to take turns when Firion is in the party. And it's kind of weird that Firion doesn't seem to be getting a lot of hype, when one of the biggest reasons that Firion is hyped is because of how well he works with Rude. But it is what it is. His burst effect is a big regen for the party, and you get overflow, and it's refund after the attacks. As party refund after you do an attack, so it's also very good for boss rush as well for the off turns, because not only are you healing and battering in the off turns, that refund is going to be even fatter. Also on this event, you're getting Golbez and Ferris boards. This is the non-lost chapter characters to get boards, which is setting the prelude for LD boards, which are starting next month. This is a mission dungeon. They have a bunch of wacky color requirements. Who else is on the banner? Fujin, Irvine, Lena. Yeah, so Fujin, Irvine, Lena, and then Firion LD is one banner, and then Golbez, Ferris, and Firion EX are on the other banner. I think it's pretty good banners. Now let's go into the Lufenia. The Lufenia is the Agrius bosses, but I don't think they buff much. I don't recall, because there's no really dispeller here, so that shouldn't be a big deal. When they float, though, they gain a humongous amount of brave. They aren't as aggressive as in, say, tier 12 or Agrius Lost Chapter, I believe. And the orb is to do a burst AoE. Well, that's not true. It's just to do a burst heal. The orb goes up by 1 for every unit that's healed with a burst heal. HP regen does not count. So let's say it's a selfish heal. Gladio C65, for example. That'll +1 the orb. But say it's a burst heal like Firion's Trap. Any button Rude presses, any skill Rude presses, I should say. Aerith skill 1, it's healing 3 people at once, so that would be +3 to the orb. Firion obviously carries this pretty hard, since he heals on the party on every move except for his EX and HP attacks, and then he does it in the off turns too. So that healing off turn trap would be great. Rude, Gao, Dash, they all have AoE heals. So there's a lot of options for the stage, and I think it's pretty fun messing around with healers and interacting with Firion. HP regen again does not work. Let's see, they also do massive AoE attacks that you need to watch out for, but after they attack, the idea is that Firion's gonna, for one, debuff their attack so they won't hit you as hard. and 2, he's gonna use his trap and AoE heal afterwards. So the orb is actually pretty easy to manage. And in Bosch, I think collapsed this fight because there's a bunch of AoEs. And I think I ran I ran Bosch, Firion, and Rude JP side, but I didn't record it. But there was so much healing in the off turns, and then the healing getting converted to battery that I kind of just derped through it. So I don't think this fight is fairly challenging. It'll be fun to mess around. I'm curious to see how people are gonna do things. I know Bilal's gonna run Realm Sylph again, definitely, because he's a goofball. Lots of room for creativity. The challenge quest, I don't remember exactly if there is a challenge quest actually, because of the mission dungeon format. I know you get a burst token, and there was a weird bug where if you claimed the burst token because it's in a chest in the mission dungeon, if you claimed it, then and you were capped, because we were capped due to the COVID reruns around this time, then it would actually disappear. I remember saying that they fixed a bug where burst tokens didn't go straight to the inbox if they're in a chest or something, but we'll see if that is actually the case. Hope it is. If you're capped, just watch out for that. Let's get into, and if there is a challenge, I'm going to be running Firion, Lena, and Irvine probably, because I have them all maxed, and there would be just some healing shenanigans with Firion. Let's see. Polls and future analysis. Firion's a 2-week synergy, and he's really great. I'd suggest everyone pull for him because he's just a boss rush staple. And again, I can't emphasize this enough. He's good without being in boss rush. He's a different style of play character, but I think he's incredibly satisfying to use. If you do get his burst, that burst finisher is so satisfying. They nailed the animation. They nailed it. His costume's also great, although I'm not going to shill for buying for costume, but I might I might cop. I'm going to be pulling on the Golbez and Ferris banners because I don't have Ferris' EX and I need Golbez dupes. I think I have every one of his weapons at 2 limit breaks, so getting dupes there would be fantastic. Talking about the future, Firion again is good in boss rush. He's really good in boss rush. Like, he shines there. It's night and day. I almost always bring Firion to my boss rush, except for the recent one, because he's, at this point, he hasn't been touched in JP. He hasn't gotten his LD boards, which are probably going to be fantastic. But even then, I know people have still used Firion to this day. Tight orbs that he can increase with off-turn damage is the same for any counter or trap characters, say like elements, Lufenias such as Zonde, who will still be up at this point. Let's see, what's it called? Bahamut and Guy's Lufenia in the future. If Firion is enchanted, this is like how all trap characters work. Traps increase the orb on the off turn. Very good for that. Attack down stacking, because his trap debuff is 30% attack down. He's just a hybrid, and he can cover party heals, and he has 60% attack aura. I think he has 40% Embrave and Eyebrave, so he fits in so many teams. You don't really have to think about building around him. His abuse with Rude is insane, because then that turns him into a super battery, and you can just battery through entire fights. It's probably why they started increasing Brave gain reduction going forward. And again, boss rush god. It's insane. If the enemy's taking a lot of turns, Firion will tear them apart. He gets support armor, which is don't really need it. He's not really going to be hitting the cap anyways. 5% attack, extra aura is okay, I guess, but I wouldn't recommend grabbing this unless you plan on running him a lot. And the last thing about this event I want to say is you want to farm a crap ton of Ferris spheres. Ferris has a bootleg, very minor sap, but for sap orbs, if you bring an E slot character and you slap the Ferris sphere in there, you can actually cheese past it just by having Ferris sphere around. So yeah, pretty good to know. Alright, hope you enjoyed the clip. Please drop a like on this video and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Please be sure to check out the full video and the card, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.